Hi fellas, bit of a crude graphic here, but I had it in so we used it. All the shaded countries here, all the shaded areas, um, obviously Britain, England, Ireland, Northern Ireland, France, etc. All the shaded areas are the countries which are confirmed as historically being involved in the human slave trade. France was by far the biggest player with all their colonies in North Africa, apparently. Uh, Great Britain, as it was at the time, Britain, uh, were a massive player, as was the Spanish in the early days, as was the Spanish and the Portuguese, and the Belgians, and the Dutch, and obviously the Italians. The Roman Empire used slaves. Apparently, in the olden days, before Christianity, a third of the population of Rome were slaves, believe it or not. So, two out of three people were using slaves in Italy at one time. Turkey, definitely. Turkey was involved right up until the late 1500s in slavery. Uh, say Italy and Sicily from ancient days, all of North Africa and the Middle East down here, they've been they've been involved in slavery for millennia. As I say, Portuguese, Spanish, French, and the British were the biggest protagonists. Greece, I think Greece were involved as well. I didn't like to say them in, but I'm pretty sure in ancient days they used slaves to row their galleys, which is the worst type of slavery ever devised, I think. Used to spend a life chained up to oars. In Russia, it's never been known, I don't think. In Germany, very low slavery. It was hardly known. Certainly stopped in the ancient days. So just came to the conclusion my geography of America and Canada is absolutely useless, lamentable. Although Europe is pretty good because I've never been there, basically. So I just thought I'd point out that all these shaded areas, not just Britain, that's Britain, of course, most of the slaves to the Americas went through Liverpool, where I used to live many years ago, on the west coast. It's a shrunken city now with all the jobs going to Asia and China, like London and Birmingham. But so you see, there's a lot more shaded areas in Europe that were involved in human slave trade to varying degrees than there is unshaded. You've only got like Switzerland, Austria, Sweden, Denmark were definitely involved. Holland was involved. All of Ireland was involved, although I've only found out recently that the English actually later on, kind of 12th, sorry, 4th and 5th century, I think the English enslaved the Irish and sent them to Jamestown, sent them to the Americas. I've learned that just recently myself. It's strange my father never mentioned that because he was very knowledgeable about history, but hardly any wonder the Irish have hated the English, is it? When we used to enslave them in the like 2nd and 3rd centuries. But they were later enslaved, of course, by the Barbary Coast pirates, these these people along here who are still doing slavery today. In Libya recently, there was the black African migrant men trying to get to Italy, trying to get to Europe, and they were snatched and they were enslaved and they were sold at a slave market just south of Tripoli. And they've actually got it on video, and they're not joking. This really is happening. So just want to show you all the guilty parties in the human slave trade. Not saying anyone was probably any better than the rest, but we were all guilty, including the English, the British, and including the Italians. And as I say, the Turks. The Turks were doing it right up until 1500s. Well, no, late 1800s, I believe. Okay, see you guys.